Hey YouTube, Mike the Alpha Hoarder here. Thanks for joining me today. So generally I do a few kinds of videos on this channel. One sort is where I ramble about MTG finance topics. Another is where I like to dig into some data, on one question or another. I did this on my Exorcist buyout video, my analysis if CE or IE cards were undervalued, most recently for the 30th reprints. But the third kind of video is the kind of video I want to do today. It gets the fewest views, but it's also my favorite. And that is where we just look at old cards. This is for the true fans of the early days of Magic. I like to share and document what I've got here in my underground bunker. And so today we're going to look at the Black Commons from the Alpha set and just enjoy them. So I have a number of binders that feature various groups of cards, and the ones I've been showing recently are my Commons sets. And like I said, today we will do black. So it starts with the Swamp. Alpha, of course, had 2 printings for each land. They added a third one in beta because of a marketing issue. They needed to have more cards than they had in the set, and so one easy way to do that, to add 5 more cards, was to make one more of each picture. This is my favorite land of all of them. I know most people like the Sunrise or the Sunset Island, but I don't know, this is just so creepy, and there's so much depth to it. I spent a lot of time as a kid having strange nightmares about the swamps from Magic. All right, Dark Ritual. 1 to add 3 black mana to your mana pool, and it is an instant in today's terms. It's an amazing ramp spell. Great art. One of the more expensive commons because of its playability. That also makes it one that's a little bit more difficult to get in good condition. As you can see here, I've got, I try to favor the nicer condition stuff, but I've got a couple of these that aren't so hot. So if you come across a nice one at a nice price, this is definitely a card where that matters. Very iconic. Drain Life, Doug Schuler art. This text is super confusing. It's weird because they've oracled it in with an X in the casting cost, which, if you read, that's what it's describing. But, it's weird because they've got Howl from Beyond, Brain Geyser, Fireball, Disintegrate, what else? Mind Twist, Volcanic Eruption. There's more. Point is, they definitely had the concept of the X, but for whatever reason, they didn't use it on this card, and they decided to just use a block of text to describe it instead. But anyway, this is a card where the price has started to move a bit in the last 6 months, more than with other commons. It's a card I love. Good one to pick up. Drudge Skeletons. 1 and 1 black for a 1/1 that regenerates for 1. Great art on this card. Man, look at that. That's one that'll haunt you as a kid. I'm not sure if this is like the skin that's left or if that's some kind of riding cloth. But it's just great. Arm missing and everything. The theme was so strong back in the day for black. You'll see it as we go through the art, but the cards are all really disturbing in their own way. Fear. For 2 black, target creature cannot be blocked by any creatures other than artifact creatures or black creatures. So you may recognize that. Today there's actually a static ability called Fear, and it's exactly that. And it came from this card. Iconic art. Not my favorite, not for any particular reason, but undeniably iconic. Cool card, one of the cheaper ones. Look at all those skulls. Can't get enough of it. Frozen Shade. I love this card. Another Schuler art. Yeah. 2 and 1 for 0/1. And for 1 it gets +1/+1 until end of turn though. That was a bummer when I figured that out. For the longest time I thought it was just +1/+1, which would be extra cool. Hell from Beyond. So yeah, see here we've got our X. Oh, interruption by a cat, one moment. This creature has destroyed more than one of my cards. I usually keep her out of here, but she broke in. Sorry about that. Wild animals in this house. But anyway, here's a card that has the X in the casting cost, so I don't know why they didn't do it before. But this thing is just scary and awesome. I mean, the more you look at that art, you know, these little tentacles around his beard, the wolf fangs, the fingernails, the fish ears, whatever's going on with his head there. Great artwork. The red with the black is just awesome. But 1 black plus X, target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. I always warn people that I'm really not a player, so I don't know when I say things like this, but I get the feeling this card is or was playable, because it's another one where finding it in good condition is actually a little harder than you'd think. Paralyzed. For 1 black, target creature is not untapped as normal during the untap phase unless 4 mana is spent. Tap target creature when Paralyzed is cast. So there was a rumor that the Paralyzed art was a continuation of the Guardian Angel art. In that one you've got the angel sort of shooting a beam down at just the right angle. But that is debunked. Anson himself actually showed up to my video. I think it was the Everything Wrong with the Alpha Set video. But he actually came into the comment section and confirmed that that was serendipitous, not intended. But still a cool little Easter egg to find. This is another one that just looks cool with a whole page. Look at all those beams shooting down. It's the colors too. The oranges and reds just look great with the old black frame. Pestilence. This is how I look in the mornings when I wake up. When my kids wake me up early. So Pestilence was originally Plague. This is one of the cards I picked up from Joel Mick after talking to him. But the way they did the casting cost there, if you didn't see that video, 4 was the total, and then they would specify how many had to be a particular type. So 4 BB is in fact the same as 2 and 2. And then I'm not sure what this is, but I think it was activation costs, which would make sense. But anyway, Plague became Pestilence. And now this is a great card. It's just so creepy. Man, this guy's got a lot of drool. No wonder he looks like that. Must be really dehydrated. But for 1, do 1 damage to each creature and both players. Pestilence must be discarded at the end of any turn in which there are no creatures in play at the end of turn. So, actually pretty powerful as I understand it. And like I said, there's just a theme in black, and they really stuck to it. Super creepy page to see them all staring at you like this. I love it. Oh, and Gratz. This is one of my favorites. Look at that art. I don't know if the skin's like melting off or, you know, the rat's scratching at itself so much. And all the little eyes in the background of the other rats. Just great. Absolutely love it. But 2 and 1 for an XX or star. And it's equal to the number of other rats, plague rats that you control. Simple, gruesome, love it. Raise dead. 1 black to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. I don't know, that seems pretty good even for today, but I guess I wouldn't know. Someone can confirm that in the comments. But man, again, just another classic black color style, you know, half dead, creepy thing. The game was dark back then. It was part of the character. Sorry about that. This light is on a timer, depending when I'm recording. It's the middle of the night. I sometimes lose the light if I forget to reset that. Scathe Zombies. Pretty vanilla card, not too much to say. 2 and 1 for a 2/2. Cool art. Same theme again. I think that's a cross in the background. I guess they missed this card with their little purge. Some cool flavor text. This is one of the black cards that you can get cheaper. I've said before, black is one of the harder, in terms of the commons, black is one of the harder sets to come by the cards in good shape, for whatever reason, but this is one of the ones you can actually get. Fear, this one. Not Sinkhole. Land Destruction, everybody's favorite. Cool art. 2 to destroy any 1 land. It's a sorcery. And yeah, like Dark Ritual, just very playable. And so it's hard to get in good condition. Most of the ones I have here are not in great condition. And the premium on a good condition one is, yeah, it's up there. So this is another one. If you see a nice one come by, you know, in the low hundreds, it's probably a good buy. If you want a card like this, that is. Not investment advice. Terror. This one's got great art. All the sinew. All the texture. Look at that eyeball. Yeah, great card. Instant speed. 1 black and 1. Destroys target creature without the possibility of regeneration. Does not affect black creatures or artifact creatures. Pretty straightforward. You know, sometimes less is more in the art. Same with Word of Command. Like, look how much of this is just black nothing. It really focuses on this guy. I feel like they don't do that as much anymore. Unholy Strength. Another classic Schuler. 1 black, target creature gets +2/+1. This card, I really like this card, but I like it because of how hilarious it looks when they started editing them. Let's see, I got the summer one handy here. Summer edition, 4th edition, and anthologies, I think, are the 3. But they just completely removed the pentagram. And so you're left with just this guy who kind of looks like he's taking a nap on the beach, you know, just relaxing. It's just such the opposite of what this looks like that it just makes me chuckle. And weakness. 1 black, target creature gets -2/-1. And then they explain that can kill the creature. This is one of the cards that Wizards sort of strangely decided was unfit for modern sensibilities. I haven't heard a good explanation for why. Although I'm not convinced I'd accept any explanation as good. You know, is what it is. But a consequence of that is that this card is having a bit of a temporary spike, sort of like Earthbind. Not quite as bad because it wasn't on the thumbnail of one of Rudy's videos, but it's the same thing. People are talking about this sort of pseudo reserve list thing. I'm not sure how much that conversation applies to the fundamentals of an alpha card. I'd have to think about that a bit more, but maybe wait on this card if you're trying to get a copy. I'm not sure that the price movement on it is going to last or make sense. And then, you know, we have got the other art, the other swamp art. I like this equally as much as the other one. It uses so few colors, and yet it communicates so much world building. Basic lands are something that I feel I missed. I wish I had gone a little bit heavier on them. By the time I kind of looked at them again, the prices had really moved, and I was just busy focusing on other cards. But, you know, that said, do keep in mind the rarity of each land art is about 85,000, the estimates that I've heard. So 85,000 of this one, 85,000 of this one. You know, by today's standards, that's not tons, but that does put it on par with a card like, you know, Ashnod's Transmogrant, say, from Antiquities. These cards are 5 times less rare than an alpha common. So yeah, it's still pretty damn rare, but I'm not sure if it's rare enough to justify the current prices on some of them. Or else, you know, I guess the other way to look at that is the commons are still underpriced. I don't know which it is, but I do wish I had more lands. I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced by the current prices yet. I want to see which way that's going to play out. A lot of people are saying that every single basic land should be $100. If that's true, then, you know, a common like Paralyzed, say, or Fear, needs to be more than $100, and those kinds of commons are not there yet. So I don't know, one of those two things isn't right. I'm not sure which it is, but until I've got a better picture of it, I'm just not putting as much attention on these as I should. But I do love the lands. This is pretty much my land position. I've got, I think, 9 of each one. But anyway, so there you have it. The black commons from Alpha. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Before I go, I just wanted to share this with you because I got a kick out of it. So if you're not familiar with Midjourney, this is an AI bot, and what you do is you give it a text prompt. This one runs through Discord, but you give it any kind of text prompt you want, and then it generates some art based on that. And this thing's pretty damn creative. But anyway, I asked it 2 questions just to see. First, I asked it to give me an Alpha Black Lotus BGS 10 signed by Christopher Rush. And this is what it came up with, which I thought was pretty cool. And then, more importantly, I asked it to draw me a picture of Mike the Alpha Hoarder. And this is what it thinks of me. These are a few options anyway. So let me know which one you think characterizes me the best. You can leave that in the comments section. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, you can really help me out and the channel by farting into a plastic bag and giving it to a friend. See you next time.